Welcome in, everybody. Twin City Sports Talk here. Solo show today, just me, Bruce Kramer, with you. We're going to cover a few things. Shorter episode today, but it's going to be a good one. Got a lot of stuff to cover. Wild game last night. Wolves have a big one tonight. And college football playoffs start today with one game later tonight, Alabama and Oklahoma. So it's going to be a fun one. We're going to get to some predictions and how they went last night, along with previewing all of that. So I think right away we'll start off, and we have a listener GM today. Someone sent in a question that I will ask, or I will answer, I should say. All right. First little bit, we're going to go over predictions from last night. Yesterday, all of us made predictions. The two games obviously being the Wild at Columbus playing the Blue Jackets, and then the Rams versus Seahawks. We usually don't do games that aren't Minnesota, but if they're big games, I'll be predicting the college football games this weekend. But last night, Rams, Seahawks, both teams coming in at 11-3. It was a great game. Ended 38-37. The Seahawks ended up pulling it out with a 2-point conversion to win it in overtime. Super fun game to watch. Either way, for the Wild game, we all said the Wild would win, and they ended up winning 5-2. So there we go for that. None of us got the score right. Trevor was close with a 4-2 prediction. Me and Jack both got our player predictions. We got both of those wrong. And then Trevor ended up getting the Ryan Hartman goal. He scored the first goal for the Wild last night. That ended up being correct. So Trevor gets a point in the point category. As for the football game, we all said the Rams would win. And that did not end up happening right there. So obviously the scores were wrong there. And none of us got the player predictions correct either. So, I mean, Trevor was pretty close. He said Darnold 3+ interceptions. He had 2 last night. So Jack was kind of close with his Darnold 2+ picks, but he needed the Seattle's offense to have 4 turnovers total. The way the standings sit right now, I am 15-17 with 3 points, and actually we are all at 3 points right now. Jack keeps his winning record at 8-7 with the wins last night, with the Wild win last night. Trevor going strong right now, 11-6. Like I said, all of us with 3 points. It was a pretty good night for all of us. We kind of scored the same. Trevor pulling it out if you're counting the full broad scope of the whole thing. For right now, let's get to the Wild game from last night. All right. The Wild went into Columbus. Honestly, it was pretty dominant the entire game. The Wild really skating faster, being more aggressive in the first period. It was fun to watch. It was a good, all-around game. Kind of sucked after the first period, us being down 1-0, I think, at the end of the first. Let me check. Yeah, 1-0 at the end of the first. Wild kind of dominated throughout that entire period, limited a lot of chances for Columbus. The one player for Columbus, Zach Werenski, that man could not be stopped last night. He had a season-high 8 shots on goal. He had both Columbus goals last night, one of them being assisted and one unassisted. So Zach Werenski was very strong last night. And you don't see that a lot from a defenseman, but we already knew he was an offensive guy coming in. So a great game from him. He was fun to watch. With this win, the Wild now reach 21-9-5. Still obviously third in the Central. So, I mean, they're sitting well. But it sucks being in the best division in hockey because you make a run like this that they've been on the past month or two. And they're still 4 points behind Dallas and 8 points behind Colorado. So it really sucks in that aspect, but they just got to keep winning. They're kind of they're 10 points ahead of Utah, who's right behind them in 4th. So got to keep that going for sure. But anything else about the game, everyone was really, the thing going around right now is reaching flow state. That's what the Wild did last night, all around the first line. The second line continues to produce. Vladimir Tarasenko with an amazing goal, assisted by Trenin and Urov. That second line right now really clicking, and I think the most impressive thing about the Wild right now, with two really big games coming up tomorrow at 2 o'clock against the Oilers, and then I think back-to-back days. I think they play the Avalanche on Sunday again at Grand Casino Arena. The best thing about the Wild right now, they're doing this with all of these injuries. You got guys, Johansson, Zuccarello, Middleton, like Foligno, not Foligno, Jonas Brodin, just a ton of injuries all stacked up. And that's the most impressive thing about it, is because they keep doing it with everyone being out, and now we're going to start getting guys healthy. And I think Johansson and maybe Zuccarello will be back for tomorrow's game, or at least the weekend couple games here. Two big ones, like I said. But I guess the other good thing is that the main guy, our first line guys, are staying healthy. I mean, Hughes has only been on the team for 3 games now, but he's been healthy. Brock Faber, Ek, Kirill Kaprizov, and Matt Boldy all staying healthy. Really positive there. Another thing while they're doing well, staying out of the penalty box. That's my favorite thing right now, because when you do that, they're first in the league in like least amount of penalty minutes. When you do that, that's winning hockey. You're not giving yourself any disadvantage. And when they do, the PK has been pretty dang good the past month. I think 3rd in the league in efficiency in the past month. And last night they had 1 power play they converted. So a lot of good stuff. Last night was actually a rare game where they got out hit 26-14, so it wasn't really even close. So Columbus, they were physical, they were playing, they played a good game. The Wild, I mean, it was a close game. It was 3-2, 2 empty net goals at the end, so nothing really much they could do at the end there for Columbus. But another good game by the Wild heading into a huge weekend stretch here against Edmonton and Colorado. So they got to prove it again this weekend. All right, but the main thing for today's show, we got a huge game tonight in Minnesota sports. The Minnesota Timberwolves are at home against our foe, our rival, the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, the best team in the NBA, the Thunder, coming in with 25 wins and only 2 losses, okay? So we've played them once this year, lost by 8. That was in OKC for the NBA Cup, one of those games. Again, it was a hard-fought game, but when you look at the league rankings for all these statistics, OKC is top 5 in basically every single one. In turnovers, they only turn the ball over the second most times. They only turn the ball over 12 times a game. The Wolves are right in the middle of the league at 13th. Assist to turnover ratio, this is one big one I look at. Means you're moving the ball around. It means you're not turning the ball over when you do move the ball around. OKC is 2nd in the league. The Wolves are 12th. So, I mean, the Wolves are kind of mid in a lot of these categories. Obviously, the Thunder having that chip up, but the Thunder just do so many things great. They move the ball around. They shoot the ball well. Then they drive. They get their big guys, Isaiah Hartenstein, in the middle. They get him involved. He's averaging more rebounds than Rudy Gobert, so he's being active. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the next level. People may critique him for the way he plays, with a little bit of the flopping and a little bit of the fake whistles, you could say. But he plays the game. He plays it his way, and they won a championship. And in the next 5 years, they'll probably win 5 championships. Hopefully tonight. So right now, Anthony Edwards is questionable with his right foot injury maintenance. So could be good. I'd love to, obviously we'd love to have him back tonight. Maybe that is a bit far-fetched because he's been out a few games now. He seems fine on the bench when he's jumping around, cheering guys on. But one other guy, Mike Conley, he's going to be out tonight. And then obviously the rest, Behringer, Freeman, bunch of guys just out, but pretty healthy right now. Conley's the only one out. Ant is questionable. I think if Ant doesn't play tonight, I think the Wolves have a 2% chance to win, just because OKC is so fast and you need Ant out there to limit it a little bit. But you're going to need a big night from Terrence Shannon Jr., from Rob Dillingham. You're going to need a big one from Bones Highland. And what I mean by a big night, I don't mean go score 20 points each of you. I mean, don't turn the ball over, because if you turn the ball over, you are absolutely screwed in this game against OKC, because their defense is top tier in the league. Their offense is top tier in the league. If you turn the ball over, you're giving them so many opportunities right then and there. But if you limit it, you're gonna have a good chance tonight. If you can make the right shots, and this is what I was crying about the last game, because the Wolves are coming off a loss to the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay. What the Wolves did terribly in this game, just absolutely terribly, was in the last 5 minutes, they don't know how to run an offense in clutch time. They shoot the three, and then obviously, most of the time, the defense is going to get the rebound. All right. 80% of the possessions with the last 5 minutes left were chuck up a three, hope it goes in, and get back on defense. That does not work. Not a winning formula right there. The Wolves didn't hit 1 3 in the second half against Memphis. They went ice cold. And I don't think you can expect to start hitting these threes when you've been so cold for so long. Yeah, you're obviously going to see one go in eventually, but you need to change up a little bit. And I don't know if that's like Finchy up top, like not coaching in the way he should be, or if it's just players maybe not even listening to Finchy. I don't know. Reporters are never going to ask about it because they'll get in trouble if they do. So it's not a good situation right now. In clutch time, the Wolves are inamped to run a compatible offense to what they should be. And it is very hard to watch a lot of the time. But I'm saying tonight, you can't have these problems. You need to be absolutely perfect. You need Julius Randle to play a lick of defense tonight. And Bones Highland, you're going to have a heck of a night. He's been playing great recently. But if Ant's out, you are going to need to guard your butt off against SGA. SGA is going to be all over this Wolves defense if Bones Highland does not have an active night on defense. I expect Bones to have at least 5 fouls in this game, maybe even foul out, because first of all, Shea draws a bunch of fouls. Everyone knows that. But the thing is, you need to be active. You need to get Shea off of his step, off of his line. Shea can score in any way, obviously. That's what makes him so great. But if you can get him off his line, just like in the playoff series last year, we won the one game. There was other games where it was it was more struggling for him. And then they had to rely on, I'm completely forgetting his name, Jalen Williams, their other guard. Really good three-point shooter, Jalen Williams. But they had to rely on him a lot in that playoff series last year because we did a good job containing Shea. But with Ant out tonight, Ant was usually the main defender against Shea. Maybe Jaden McDaniel stepped up a few times. But I think Jaden is probably going to be up against our Minnesota's own Chet Holmgren tonight. Chet is also turned in. And also I want to talk about OKC has had the best rebuild in sports history. I mean, it's pretty amazing what they've done in the past couple of years. They were pretty bad, pretty dang bad. It was like the Chris Paul teams in the 2020, 2021 season. They ended up trading every good player they had, Paul George, Chris Paul, and they got so much draft capital for the future. I mean, this next draft. So the OKC, they win the championship last year. They are on pace to set the record for the best record in NBA history. So basically the best team of all time. You can argue 15 Warriors or 96 Bulls. People can argue whatever they want, but the OKC Thunder might go down as the best team of all time. But guess what? They might have 2 top 10 picks next year. That is absolutely scary. And they could run the league. They could win the championship for the next 8 years. It sucks that this is when Anthony Edwards is going to be reaching his prime and the Wolves are like roster wise ready to win a championship, but then you have to run into maybe the best team of all time, which absolutely sucks. All of their team is super young. It's going to be a tough road, but tonight can be the first night. I keep saying it all year. The Wolves keep losing to inferior opponents. They're 17-10. So many times this year, you lose 2 clunkers to the Suns, you lose to the Kings, you lose to the Grizzlies. If they win these games, they're sitting at about 22-5. That is a whole heap of a lot of a difference than 17-10, which they're sitting at now. Still clearly in the playoff picture, but if they keep not playing against bad opponents, and then, I mean, it's the classic case of just playing up and down to your opponent. I have a feeling they'll play up tonight. The crowd's going to be in it. It's a huge game. If Ant's back, that's even more. We're also coming off a high because Kevin Garnett is returning now. And we're going to retire his jersey this year sometime, or maybe next year. Haven't read into it too much, but Kevin Garnett's back. They're on a high, the entire franchise. It is very key shutting down SGA tonight. That's my key to the game. Get the ball in other people's hands. I think Chet struggled at times in the playoff series when guarded by Jaden and having Rudy inside. That's another big one. Rudy's been great recently. Either way, key to the game, just like every other game for any team playing OKC, get the ball out of Shea's hand, and you should have a better chance to win the game. So that's pretty simple right there. Yeah, that's all for the Wolves. I'll get to my prediction in a couple minutes here. I'm going to very quickly preview the first college football game tonight. Big one, the 8 versus 9 seed in the college football playoffs. And if anyone that watches the show doesn't know, I am our resident huge college football fan. Okay. I watch it religiously. It's everything to me right now. But so I'm very excited for this game tonight. Alabama facing Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off a win against Alabama in the regular season. That game was a really good game. They beat them 23-21. And Oklahoma, they had such a tough stretch. So they played South Carolina on October 18th. And then that was their at that point, they were 5-1. And then they played number 8 Ole Miss on October 25th. Ended up losing that one. So they're at 2 losses. People are saying, wow, okay, so they're going to be out of the playoff picture if they lose one more. Their stretch of games after that was very intense. They played number 14 Tennessee and won that. They then played number 4 Alabama in Alabama, and I may add, they played in Tennessee at Neyland Stadium and at Alabama. They went in and won both of those. And then they played number 22 Missouri, won that. And then they played still a really good roster in LSU. Very disappointing year for LSU, but still a really good roster. They won that. They won 4 amazing games and amazing opponents. They deserve to be in, and they can be scary. So the big question with them right now is John Mateer, their quarterback. He had that injury mid-season, and now he hasn't really looked maybe the same as he really did to start the season. I mean, he was getting Heisman talk earlier in the season when they beat Michigan in week 2 and beyond that. But he's been throwing picks. He's been turning the ball over, but he's been doing enough to get the win. But the thing that's helped Oklahoma so much is their defense. Their defense has been so active, and they have been the reason. I mean, these games, Missouri, they won 17-6. LSU, they won 17-13. Even against Alabama, they won 23-21. So right now, for Oklahoma, if you score 23 points, not a tall task at all. If you score 23 points, you have a really good shot at winning, because this defense is just hounding every offense, causing turnovers, TFLs, everything that you can think of. I mean, Missouri actually outgained Oklahoma a lot. They had 301 total yards, which isn't even that good. But Oklahoma had under 300 when they beat them. But Missouri had 2 turnovers that game. They got sacked 4 times. Tennessee struggled. If I'm remembering correctly, Tennessee had 3 interceptions too. Well, Tennessee had 3 turnovers, also sacked 4 times. If I go to that Alabama game, let me look at that. Yeah, so Alabama also 3 turnovers, 4 sacks. Ty Simpson was under a lot of duress there. And I think it'll be a lot of the same tonight. Oklahoma gets a home playoff game. People got to remember, Alabama was home when Oklahoma went in and beat them. But this game is in Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner territory. But let's talk about Alabama. So Alabama, really good all season. They have the bad loss to Florida State, who turned out to be a complete dud the entire rest of the season. Ty Simpson, great year. 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Jam Miller, their running back, has been injured all year, and I'm honestly not sure if he's going to be going tonight or not. Haven't looked into that as much as I should be. But yeah, obviously, Alabama's coming off a bad loss in the SEC championship to Georgia, 28-7. They lost to Oklahoma earlier in the year, and then they lost to Florida State. So a couple losses along the way. And right now, the big story, Ty Simpson is dealing with a very major back issue, which is not good. Because, I mean, with the defense, Oklahoma has been giving Alabama absolute just hellfire everywhere. Guys blitzing, they have many different blitz packages, rushing up the A and B gap all game. Alabama's offensive line is the key to winning this game. If they can limit all this and get Ty Simpson time in the pocket, I think Alabama wins by probably a score or two. But if the offensive line cannot protect Ty Simpson, just like last time, Ty Simpson and the offense had 3 turnovers and was also sacked 4 times. The offensive line, if they do their job, Alabama will be sitting pretty, but if they don't, Oklahoma's going to run away with it. Well, I wouldn't say run away with it because Oklahoma's offense has been pretty stagnant. I am just super excited to see that environment in Oklahoma, though. Home playoff game, you always have to love that. So I'll get to my prediction for that game in a little bit here. But one last thing before predictions, we have Listener GM. Listener GM is a segment where you guys can comment on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok a question or opinion you guys have, and me or any of the guys, Trevor or Jack, will answer on a future episode your question or opinion, give our word on it. Today, Ethan Michaels, he's asking, out of the 4 teams in Minnesota, who will win a championship first? And if we want to, we could rank them. I will rank them actually. So the 4 teams out of Minnesota, obviously Wolves, Wild, Twins, and Vikings. Yeah, this is tough. There's a lot of variables with this question. I like the question. Really good question. I'm going to go step by step here. The Vikings, depending on how JJ McCarthy plays the rest of the year, they look like they have their quarterback for the future. I mean, they're going to stick with him until he falls off a roof. It's only about putting a team behind him, which they have done. They'll do it again next year. The Vikings are definitely a tough one. Let me go to the Twins real quick, though. The Twins are in a weird spot. Ownership issues for many years now, not putting in the money as they should be. But the MLB is most likely going to have a lockout at the start of next season. We might not even have a season next year. That's how tough it could get for the MLB. Some things that could come along with this lockout are a salary cap people have talked about, and a few other things to help these teams like the Twins and Guardians and Marlins out, who are only spending $30 million. I mean, the Twins are spending 90 or 100 right now, but that's still not as, I mean, the freaking Mets and Dodgers are spending 400 million. So it's a lot different. A lot of things could happen there. So if a salary cap were to be in play, it would put a big damper on these very dominant teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees. And it would give us a chance, and there's a chance that the Twins could make something happen in the next decade, and I don't know, put together a good team and win the World Series. You never know. The Wild, I'd say, you know what? I will rank the Wild first. Okay, the Wild have proved they are all in this year and next year specifically. They have Quinn Hughes, and that's my puppy. My puppy's crying over here. The Wild have proved with getting Quinn Hughes that they are all in. They're going to go for a championship this year, next year, while he's still under contract. He will probably sign an extension, but for right now, the Wild are in a good spot. They have a great defensive core. Like I said a few episodes ago, when you have a top 3 goalie tandem, a great defensive core like the Wild have, and good scoring as of now. The scoring was pretty stagnant for a few weeks there, but now the scoring's coming around. The Wild are first on that list, I'd say. As for number 2, I probably would have to say the Vikings. I know it's very hard to believe. We are 0-4 in Super Bowls, as my Packer fan wife likes to mention a lot. But the Vikings, they have their coach. Kevin O'Connell is a great coach. We have our quarterback of the future. All you got to do when our quarterback's on his rookie contract, build a team around him, which they've done. Draft well, which that's the problem. Kwesi needs to have a good draft under his belt for us to really give him the reins there and give him all his props. But I'd say the Vikings are 2. They have the infrastructure to do it right now. Number 3 is actually, you know what? I could throw 2 and 3 together. I think the Wolves could go, like I said, either 2 or 3, because the Wolves being back-to-back Western Conference final, they appeared in both of those and really crapped the bed in both of them. One of the Mavs and then one, obviously, last year to OKC. Lost in 5 games for both of them. Right now, I do not think the Wolves will make it back to the Western Conference Finals. They can change my mind. They can play better, but right now they don't play good against the teams they should. They play up to their opponent, which is good in playoff sense, but when you cannot consistently play a good game or shoot the ball well or do anything that OKC does, OKC is the blueprint here. Okay, you got to do everything that they do. You got to shoot the ball well, play active defense, get easy points on turnovers. And Ant, I love your 3-point. He's improved his 3-point percentage and just his shooting all around over his career. But Ant, you are one of the most physical, down, like driving point guards, not point guard, just driving guards in the league. Drive the ball and then kick it out to someone if you don't have something. But you are so athletic, you can hang in the air for 5 seconds, get in the lane and start driving a bit more. That's all I want to see from you. Be more active in that way. And if he does that, that raises my confidence level with the Wolves a ton. I just think with Julius Randle, he's a liability on defense. He's going to get run through every single playoff series just because he doesn't try on defense. He's so slow. It's not good. There we have other guys, Jaden, Rudy, great defensive players. Jalen Clark, that stat still. Jalen Clark, when he plays 15 minutes a game or more, the Wolves are undefeated. They're like 15-0 this season when he plays 15 minutes. Either way, Wolves 2 or 3, Vikings 2 or 3, and then fourth, obviously the Twins. Like I said, salary cap could be in play. I don't think it will matter as much. I think they're probably going to be the farthest one out. So, which sucks, but yeah, there we go. Wild, Vikings, Wolves, Twins. That's my ranking of the 4 Minnesota teams. Who will win the championship first? But here's the thing. The Wild are like steps above everyone else. They have everything they need to win right now, and they keep proving it. They beat the Stars. They beat the Avalanche. This weekend's a big weekend with some injuries. See if you can take it to these teams this weekend. Then it's really going to prove it. Either way, there it is. Last bit here, we're going to get to my predictions. Like I said, I previewed this Thunder and Wolves game tonight. Huge game in Target Center. The Wolves have a lot going on right now, a lot of highs. Kevin Garnett announces he's coming back. We're going to retire his jersey as a Wolf instead of just being a Celtic. I still don't think it's enough. I don't think the Wolves can match the Thunder's intensity. I got the Wolves losing, I'll say 125 to 116. They'll keep it relatively close. As for a player prediction, I think. See, here's the tough part. I don't know if Ant's going to play tonight. He's questionable right now. I think the bench, I'll say this. I'll think the bench will have 40 points tonight, whether that come from 20 from Naz Reid and 10 from Terrence Shannon and Rob Dillingham. It doesn't matter. Bench will have 40 points tonight. That's a tall task, but the bench needs to have a great game to beat this Thunder team. All right, next one. I'm gonna make a prediction about the Alabama and Oklahoma game. Here's the thing. It is very tough, especially in college football and in football in general, to beat a team twice. The Vikings did it on the Packers last year. Nothing light there. I don't know. It's tough because Oklahoma coming off that win, they're just going so well. Their defense is so active. Alabama, a lot of stuff going on. Running back room is injury prone, I guess, or just injured in general. Ty Simpson, back injury. That's never a good one to have, especially as a quarterback. I'm going to go Oklahoma wins. Yeah, it's a very tough one to say. I'm going to say Oklahoma wins 26 to 20. It'll be a close game. I really think it will be. As for a player prediction, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go Mateer with a rushing touchdown. I'll say that. Mateer rushing touchdown. He can use his legs, and he hasn't been throwing the ball ever since that injury that he had as well. So Mateer rushing touchdown. Oklahoma wins. They move on. I forget who they're playing. I think it'd be the 1 seed, which would be Indiana. That would be a fun game. Maroon versus Maroon there. Either way, there's my prediction for tonight. Hopefully those go well. But yeah, Wolves game tonight, Oklahoma tonight. Big sports day tomorrow. We'll have another episode in the morning tomorrow, covering the Vikings game on Sunday and the college football world tomorrow. And also we'll have a wild prediction tomorrow for their game against Edmonton at 2:00. So, but for today, Twin City Sports Talk, I'm Bruce Kramer. Make sure you guys go check out the TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. Subscribe, follow, whatever you guys can do there. Leave a comment for listener GM. That's all I ask for that. But for today, I'll see you guys tomorrow.